Just wanted to show the foil veneers that I've been working with lately. Isn't that pretty? I've been working with a lot of foil because I have a lot in my stash. And I made this veneer. I thought it was really pretty. I'm going to make some beads out of it. Here is another one that is less controlled, but I think that will make pretty beads also. And then the last one is this one here that I made. Very, very simple technique. You don't even have to think about it. Let me show you how I made this foil veneer. And the foil veneer that I make today, these beads will be sent to Cola James. That is why I tagged you in the video. You mentioned in my comment section, and here's the comment right here, that you need to buy some beads from me. But I know a little bit of what you've been through lately, and I just wanted to bless you with some beads. So let me know your information so I can send these beads to you from this video. So these are probably some of the most simple beads that you can make, in my opinion. But one thing is, I can't stand working with foil. Believe it or not, foil leaf is just crazy. And you know, don't be up here trying to use it in your house with your fan on. Right now, I just had to go and turn my ceiling fan off because it'll just be flying everywhere. So Cola, I really like this foil leaf, even though I can't stand foil leaf. I think it's cute, and I'm going to try to mix and match it with this red color for your beads. And I have a what is it, 12-ounce bar of Cashapp poly clay. Either way you say it, it's some of the best clay out there. It's very sturdy. You don't have to use this for beads. I've made beads with every kind of clay under the sun. Probably I like the way it handles every application almost that you want to do with it. So I am going to not make you guys watch me, because what I need to do is I need to cut some of this off and condition it, more than some, because I need some for the veneer, and I also need some for the actual beads. So we're gonna do like that and just use those two. One is gonna be the veneer and one is gonna be for the beads. Probably got too much either way, but we'll see, because I never know, because I don't usually use the 12-ounce bars when I cut. I never know how much it's gonna be. It's different with the smaller bars. Smaller bars, you get that much, you know exactly how much, you know how big your veneer is gonna be. I have conditioned one of the bars. This is one of them, and this is how big it ended up being, which is awesome because this is on a number 1 right now, and after I get my foil on, it's gonna have to go through in order to stretch it out and get the kind of look that I'm trying to achieve. Something like a crackle. Well, it is crackle foil, but I don't want as much as the black showing. I guess I would say there's different levels of crackle, and I'm looking for I'll show it to you when I get to it. How about that? And this is the other piece that I had conditioned, and this is going to be rolled into a ball for not a ball, it's going to be rolled into a log in order for me to make my beads. When I tell you guys, if you are just starting with clay and you want to learn how to make beads and they come out really, really good, please go to Donna Cato and watch her videos. Before her, I'm not gonna say I was struggling, but I was struggling, you know, making beads, trying to, well, the roundness is still an issue with me. Getting them perfectly round is still an issue. But if I had designs, there's a certain way you pinch them together while you're making the beads that makes them look a lot better. For me, they've never been perfect, but they've been better than I feel I could ever get them. So I'm not going to cut the ends or anything off right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to cut this as in half as I can. All right, so we have that cut in half, and I'm gonna get another piece of paper so I can move this one as far away as possible from that one. I don't have the fan on, but you know, just in case, because I feel like foil leaf blows even when there's no wind. I promise you it does. Even when there's no wind to be seen, it just blows. I feel like the best way to do this with this paper is try to hold it. You see where my thumb is, down there on the foil leaf, and just try your best. See, I'm already losing control. And lay it over onto the clay, which did not work. Okay, so for me, I like to try to get the clay just covered as much as I can. And what I have found, I don't know about anybody else out there that's doing clay. Don't be in my comment section telling me I'm doing nothing wrong. Clay is clay. You go with the flow, and that's it. So what I have found with this foil leaf is to don't worry about overlapping. Actually, you maybe want to overlap, because once you send it through your pasta machine, that's going to determine how many crackles you don't or do get. The thicker the foil is on your clay, the less crackle, I guess. I feel like it's the better crackle. That's why I don't try to move it. If it falls on top of each other, I just, like I said, go with the flow and just make sure you cover your whole sheet of clay. I generally don't like to see any of my clay poking through on the veneer, so I try to cover it as good as I can. If there's some open spots, it's not a big deal. They're going to open back up once they go through the pasta machine anyway, but they're going to open back up as a crackle is what I'm trying to say. But I just like to have as much coverage as possible. I'm going to try to get another sheet or two on top of this. Like I said, don't have to be neat. It's not going to want to stick, you know, because it's this foil leaf, but it will if you just give it a little time and a little bit of loving. It will stick to the other foil leaf. You see that? It will stick to it. Basically, I guess you can say I'm trying to get 2 layers, or as close to 2 layers as I can get. The 2 layers doesn't have to be all over the veneer. I'm just wanting some extra strength of foil, leaf, so that I can get less crackle effect. So this one is good. The other one's going to be, I think, a little bit easier to make. This piece is going to be with this beautiful foil leaf here. I do not know what this is called, but I just love the way that it looks. I've used it once on a veneer. It kind of loses some of its definition, but I still like the way it looks. So, and it's easier to handle for some reason. I guess foil leaves are made differently. Some may be thicker. It's still flyaway though, y'all. So let me stop playing with it and put it down. Ah, see, I broke it. Gonna lay it down all the way, all over. It's always better to pat this down than to rub it. I just always make that mistake. I'm going to try to double it like I did the other one. This doesn't do like the other. That's why I was saying about different foil leaves having different textures. And I guess because this has been kind of treated to be like this, I don't think that it's as wants to stick to itself like that other one did. It's already on one through the pasta machine. You can see that's pretty thick right there. So it's already on one. I actually put it through on one again. And then I skip to 3, and then I go to 4, and 4 is usually where I end. But there it is. It's very, very pretty. Doesn't it look like liquid gold? And here's the thinness of that piece. Don't those two colors look beautiful together? They are so pretty together. So here's what I'm gonna do. There is absolutely no science to this at all, as I've been telling you. Keep little stuff like this because you can use it. I just want to stagger the colors, putting them together. I'm not trying to do the same. Actually, I could if I use my my tool over there. To mark this in order to make the lines the same or as close to the same as I can for Miss Cola's beads. Okay, I can barely see those lines though. So what we're gonna do, here's the first one, which is no good. It's good for scrap though. And here's one. I'm not worried about the ends. I really am not. So we're going to take this. This is the end piece. So and we're going to bump that up against there. And then take another cut and bump it. This over here. Now this is gonna have to be burnished, but my experience the last time I did this, it was like no matter how much I burnished, it didn't really want to stick together. And I think even though inside the cut is true clay and it should stick to each other side by side, but I think because it's so thin, maybe it just didn't want to stick to each other. So we'll see what happens this time. Or maybe even I didn't even burnish it long enough, you know, to give it any sticking power. And we're going to use this last piece right here. So there is our cola design. And I'm gonna be real simple and I'm gonna call this design the cola. So here it is right here. Very, very pretty. And actually, you know, in order for this design to go around beads, the beads are gonna have to be pretty big so that it shows both of the slats. And what I think I'm gonna do, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make Cola some bigger beads from this half of the design. We're gonna keep these like this. I'll put them off to the side. And this little batch right here, and you see how they're coming apart, they're even hard to move. It's because, you know, you can really see it on this one, how some of the foil is on the clay. So that's why it really doesn't want to stick. I mean, I think burnishing is going to help it. I think the last time, like I said, I didn't burnish probably well enough. Here's what I was thinking. To cut these a little bit thinner, like cut in between each one of the ones I already have. I guess for lack of any other way to say it that sounds technical for clay, is I'm just trying to make more strips. That's all. I'm just trying to make more strips, and I don't care if they're the same size or anything at all. Alrighty, this is how we burnish. And another reason why I don't want it to be too thin is when you start making the beads, you're thinning this out some more, so even more of the black will show. So that's another reason I try to put more foil on it. But to burnish it, I try to be careful. The foil, don't make me out of a liar today, foil, but it normally doesn't come up on the paper. So I just try to burnish it by first going around in a circle, because I feel like that helps move some of them together. And then after that, I just go side to side to help them come together even more. And that's about all that I will do to it. As you can see, none came off on the paper. They're together, they're okay. So this is where I will try to like straighten things up. And whatever I cut off, I just try to go to the bottom, you know, where the most straggliest line is, and save everything. Save it all, save it. See, that didn't even burnish. You see that right there? But I'm not going to cut that off. I'm just going to cut to this end. And normally, sometimes I pick these up and they become a part of my design, and sometimes I pick them up and they become a part of the roll that I'm using to make the beads with. But I keep these off to the side too, because as I'm rolling the beads, if they start to show too much of the clay, I have a piece of gold or I have a piece of red that I can cut off and put on top and try to make it come back together as one piece. I know that probably didn't make no sense. Okay, that's our first one. I'll put this off to the side and get our bigger one, and then I'll be right back because I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Okay, we have our two very beautiful cola veneers. So I'm going to put these off to the side, and I am going to roll my log. That I thought would be better for the bead so that all colors would show, which would be this one. So the only thing you're going to do, I will come in, and however long my veneer is, I cut my roll to that size. And you are going to have to carefully, and the best way to do that is, let me do it on the right because I want it to be this way. Press it on. It's not going to press now because it's foil on that other side. I'm just pressing in hopes that it'll catch some of the crackle part, which it does. And you want to pull your paper off that way. Doesn't have anything to do with anything. You're not stretching your clay when you do it this way. It's just better. I take my rolled out piece and put it on the very end. And I will take my cutter and cut into it just a little bit, just to make sure that it is absolutely straight. Use the blade to lift it up and go across, pushing it to the clay. And as you roll, make sure you're pushing it into the clay. That way you're not getting any bubbles between the veneer and your snake. And just keep on rolling it over until you hit clay. And it will give you your line of demarcation that you can cut. Pick your good piece up and put it aside for your project, and you're going to roll it into each other. And kind of sort of make sure they're not on top of each other. Even if you have to spread it back out and put it back together, they shouldn't be on top of each other. They should be meeting. So I just roll. Again, I'm not too worried. I do want to keep it the same size, so I'm trying to be very gentle at the same time of rolling it quite good. Okay, and I like the way I've done this because I really don't need the marks it tool. So what we're going to do is, the other beads I've made, I've taken this and I've gone on the top of it so that I can get those lines to cut on. But look, they're basically already here for us because I want to make sure that I have some gold. Okay, y'all, that dreaded thing happened. I was filming and lost. Well, I didn't lose footage. I didn't know that the camera memory was gone. So I was just talking and making beads and everything. So I made these two beads. I think it ended up with me rolling this out on top of the snake. You remember I had cut that. So, and I'm saying remember because it's been a long time since that happened and I'm just now coming back in here. But what I did was, once I got it rolled, I was going to use my marks it to mark it like I usually do. And then I was like, oh, I just use the lines here in the project to cut my beads out because I wanted some of the gold and the red on each bead. So that's what I did. I cut down that line, gold, red, gold, red. And I rolled my first two beads all off camera, but they came out so stinking pretty. And I was showing you guys the method that I use from Donna Cato. I'm not going to say I didn't know how to roll beads. My beads would come out okay, but if it was something like a pattern, I would always lose my pattern because I'll put it together and I just start rolling just to make it into a bead. So, but if you want to keep, you know, the red and the gold separated, this is like the best method for rolling this kind of bead or any kind of bead, because I've just been doing this since I learned it from her. And see, this is what I was telling you guys earlier about how you're going to get a little bit more crackle because of the way you put the beads together. So you see some more of the background is showing of that black clay, and that's another reason to pick the right color. I don't think I said this. Pick the right color clay when you're going to do this project, because it is going to end up peeking through. So that's one side, and you just do the same thing with the other side and keep going around until they meet and make friends. And when you are satisfied about the friendship, that is when you don't even really have to worry about closing that. I normally use this as my middle on both sides, and I try to make, you know, my beads fit to that's going to be my middle. Now with this, I don't want to go like this too much because I don't want to skew the lines between the red and the gold. So I'm being a little bit careful with it. But I don't know, you may be better than me when you make your beads, but it takes a lot for me to make my beads, and I have to mess with them a lot. So much so that I'm not going to make these totally on camera, all of them. I'm having good luck right now with the shaping and everything. They're okay. This is the shape that I would like them to be in, and I use, most of the time, to be honest, I use anything I can get my hands on. I use these most of the time, and they're those pearl, I don't even know what they are, pearl makers, I guess, from Sculpey. I will pull these because there's some in all sizes. I have a smaller one. This is a smaller one, so of course it will make a smaller hole, but I'm using this one because I don't know what Cola may use these beads for, so I want the hole in the bead to be big enough to accommodate whatever type stringing material that she's going to use in them. And I just twist until I make it to the bottom. That was pretty good, actually. I normally don't make it straight through. It's not perfect, but it's there. And then I take it from there and put it in the other end, and you know, go back through so the hole is a little bit more uniform on both sides. So this bead isn't perfect. Like I said, I'm gonna mess with it some more before I put it on the baking rack. But once I get finished with them and I put them on the baking rack, I will come back and show you. These I'm considering as being a little bit smaller bead, and I'm gonna make some, or one or two, out of the bigger one that I had made. Remember, I made this one, this veneer, and I didn't, you know, separate it or do anything to it. So I want to make bigger beads out of this one, and I'll come back and show you the beads, all the beads, when I get finished. For the sake of time, because this is already going to be probably one of the longest videos I've uploaded to YouTube in a while. So let me get the beads made, and then I will be right back. This is what I baked them on. Some people make their beads and they put them in a pile of cornstarch to bake them, and I've done that before, but I like using my bead kit better. I'm just going to put one on here just to show you how it goes. It's just a big needle. I got this off of Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description. I think I got it off of Amazon, but I'll find where I got it from. It's a big needle, and you take your bead and, of course, you know, put it through the hole, and you lay it across there, and it just bakes on there. Here they are, the finished beads. Aren't they just beautiful? The cola beads for my cola. Cola, make sure you give me your contact information or your address information so I can send these off to you as soon as possible. They came out absolutely beautiful. I love the colors on these beads. I'm gonna have to make some more for me now that I've made this batch. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and love ya. Bye-bye.